Hello and welcome to Comedy Graveyard, where we exhume the worst jokes imaginable and try to figure out what kind of comedic serial killer came up with them. You know, those jokes that make you laugh, but only because you're questioning the life choices that led you to this moment. Today, we're diving headfirst into the cringe-inducing, groan-inducing world of so bad, they're good memes. We've got puns so bad, they'd make a dad joke blush, and wordplay so tortured, it should be reported to the Geneva Convention. Buckle up, because we're going on a wild ride through the internet's best-worst jokes, culminating with the most spectacularly awful punchline that will leave you questioning your faith in humanity. Our first contender on this descent into comedic hell is a classic bit of dark humor. You don't need a parachute to skydive, you need a parachute to skydive twice. Now, on the surface, this is clearly absurd. Everyone knows you need a parachute to skydive, preferably one that's been packed correctly and isn't currently on fire. But that's the beauty of this joke, isn't it? It plays on our shared understanding of reality while simultaneously twisting the knife of logic. It's the kind of joke that makes you want to both laugh and call the person who told its therapist just to make sure they're okay. And yet, here we are, about to subject ourselves to 17 more of these things. Okay, this next one is short and sweet, like a sugar rush that ends in a toothache. I told my wife she was drawing her eyebrows too high. She looked surprised, right? Get it? Because eyebrows are on your face, and when you're surprised, your eyebrows go up. It's like the comedic equivalent of finding a penny on the ground, mildly amusing for a fleeting second, but ultimately worthless. And yet, there's a certain undeniable charm to its simplicity. And now we arrive at the bone-chilling humor of, why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have the guts. This, my friends, is a pun in its purest, most skeletal form. It takes a word, guts, with two distinct meanings, one literal, one figurative, and smashes them together with the force of 1,000 femur-shattering blows. Is it funny? Debatable. Is it groan-worthy? Undeniably. Next up, we have a joke that's so bad, it's practically a physics experiment in the nature of humor. I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down. I mean, come on. It's right there, dangling in front of you like a low-hanging comedic fruit, just begging to be plucked and discarded with a weary sigh. And yet there's something almost admirable about its audacity. It's like the comedic equivalent of wearing socks with sandals, a bold choice that's sure to elicit strong reactions, even if those reactions are primarily confusion and pity. And now, a joke for the science nerds among us, or at least those who barely passed high school chemistry. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Oh, the irony. The very building blocks of our universe, the fundamental particles that comprise all matter, are inherently untrustworthy because they make up everything? It's a joke that's so bad it circles back around to being almost clever. Almost, but not quite. Let's be honest, we all saw this one coming a mile away. I'm on a seafood diet. I see food and I eat it. Ah, the classic seafood diet. Because nothing says healthy eating like abandoning all self-control and consuming anything within a 5-foot radius. It's a joke that's as old as time itself, or at least as old as the invention of the buffet. And now, a joke for the cynics in the room or those currently navigating the treacherous terrain of online dating. Why don't some couples go to the gym? Because some relationships don't work out. Oh, the burn. It's like a double whammy of relationship and fitness humor, expertly crafted to inflict maximum emotional damage. Are you single and unhappy with your current physique? Well, this joke is here to remind you that love is a myth, and your summer body is still a distant dream. Enjoy the existential dread, folks. Okay, brace yourselves because this next one is a real whopper. I would avoid the sushi if I were you. It's a little fishy. I mean, where do we even begin with this one? The sheer audacity of using fishy as a synonym for suspicious when discussing a food literally made of fish is astounding. It's like the comedic equivalent of wearing a clown nose to a funeral, wildly inappropriate yet impossible to ignore. Get ready for a joke that's still under construction. Want to hear a joke about construction? I'm still working on it. It's a classic bait and switch, promising humor, but delivering only the crushing realization that the joke itself is as unfinished as a half-built skyscraper. It's like the comedic equivalent of ordering a pizza and getting a delivery box filled with uncooked dough and disappointment. And now a joke for the linguophiles among us, or at least those who enjoy a good pun, even if it's delivered with the subtlety of a runaway meatball. What do you call fake spaghetti? An impasta. Oh, the wordplay. It's like Shakespeare himself reached down from the heavens, grabbed a fistful of overcooked noodles and declared, "Let there be puns." Get ready for a joke that's outstanding in its field, of awfulness. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field. It's a classic dad joke, delivered with the same level of enthusiasm as someone reading the ingredients list on a box of cereal. It's the kind of joke that makes you want to simultaneously groan and pat the joke teller on the head while saying, "Bless your heart, you tried." And now, a joke for the musically challenged among us, or those who have ever attempted to play an instrument with less than stellar results. I used to play piano by ear, but now I use my hands. It's a joke so obvious, so predictable, that it's almost like it's trying to lull you into a false sense of security before hitting you with the comedic equivalent of a wet noodle. Okay, this next one is cheesy, and I'm not talking about the good kind you find on a perfectly cooked pizza. What do you call cheese that isn't yours? Nacho cheese. It's a joke that's so bad, it makes you want to stage a dramatic reading of the dictionary just to cleanse your palate of its awfulness. It's like the comedic equivalent of wearing Crocs to a fashion show. You know it's wrong, you know everyone else knows it's wrong, and yet there's a strange sense of defiance in committing such a blatant act of comedic terrorism. But hey, at least it's memorable, right? Get ready to roll your eyes into the next millennium with this one. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? It was too tired. Ah yes, the classic too-tired bicycle. Because nothing says hilarious pun like anthropomorphizing an inanimate object and then making it the subject of a joke so bad, it could single-handedly revive the dying art of vaudeville. It's the kind of joke that makes you want to grab the nearest dictionary, rip out the page with the word pun on it, and perform a ritualistic burning while chanting ancient Sumerian incantations to ward off future instances of such linguistic atrocities. And now, a joke that's sure to ferment some groans. What did the grape do when he got stepped on? He let out a little whine. It's a joke that's so bad, it makes you want to swear off humor altogether and join a silent monastery where the only sounds you hear are the gentle rustling of robes and the occasional Gregorian chant. Get ready for a joke that's past its prime. I know a lot of jokes about retired people, but none of them work. Oh, the meta humor. It's like the joke itself is self-aware of its own lameness, which somehow makes it even worse. It's like the comedic equivalent of watching a dog chase its own tail, mildly amusing for a few seconds, but ultimately pointless and a little bit sad. And now, a joke for the paleontologists and logophiles among us. What do you call a dinosaur with an extensive vocabulary? A thesaurus. It's a joke that's so bad it makes you want to go back in time, prevent the extinction of the dinosaurs, and then immediately apologize to them for the existence of this joke. It's like the comedic equivalent of wearing socks with sandals, a bold fashion choice that's sure to elicit strong reactions, primarily confusion and pity. But hey, at least it's educational, right? And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the grand finale, the piece de resistance of our comedic roast. I asked my dog what's 2 minus 2. He said nothing. Pause for dramatic effect, then burst into laughter. I mean, come on. The sheer audacity of setting up a math joke with a dog, only to have the punchline be the dog's silence. It's like the comedic equivalent of ordering a pizza and getting a delivery box filled with existential despair and disappointment. Well, there you have it, folks. 18 memes so spectacularly bad, they somehow managed to claw their way back into the realm of humor. We've laughed, we've groaned, we've questioned the very fabric of reality. And through it all, one thing remains clear. Bad jokes like car crashes and viral dance crazes are impossible to ignore. If you enjoyed this descent into comedic hell, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more questionable content, and leave a comment letting me know which joke made you want to throw your phone into a bottomless pit of despair. Remember, folks, life is too short to take humor too seriously. So embrace the cringe, celebrate the groan-worthy, And always remember that even the worst jokes can bring us together in shared bewilderment and amusement.